Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the GSMC Golf Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you guys today where we'll be reviewing Davis Riley's win at the Charles Schwab Challenge. This is his first win on tour by himself. He has another tour win at the Zurich Classic of New Orleans, but that is a partner tournament. So this is his first tournament by himself that he won, and he won in dominant fashion. Our second segment will be me discussing the rest of the leaderboard at Fort Worth and how that shaped up and what it really means as we get into the dog days of summer with a bunch of great tournaments coming up, including the Canadian Open. Our third segment will be me talking about the impacts on coaches on the PGA Tour. With Davis Riley's win, he noted that his coach helped out a lot as he rehired his old coach that he was working with that got him a win in Zurich or in New Orleans. So I just want to talk about how important that can be for a player. Our fourth segment of the night will be me talking about Scottie Scheffler and whether or not, in my opinion, he is kind of slowing down from his dominant run or if he's just beginning his dominant run. And then we will finally finish off the show with talking about the RBC Canadian Open. We're not going to be previewing it as much as just talking about what happened last year, the kind of history behind it, and what it means for a lot of these Canadian golfers on the tour. But before we get into all of that, guys, if you would like to donate, help out with the show in any ways, you can use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. You know, if you have any questions, you can put it in the box and it will show up on the screen. It really helps out all the creators here at the GSMC Sports Network as well. So if you guys want to help out in any way, gsmcpodcast.net is the link for that. But without further ado, we're going to get right into talking about Davis Riley's win at the Charles Schwab Challenge. I almost said RBC Canadian Open. That's the next week. But Davis Riley winning his first solo tournament. Very, very impressive here. He won by 5 strokes. Second place was Brian Harman and Scottie Scheffler combining at 9 under. And he wins it with a 14 under weekend, and I mean, just such an impressive one this was. Here's the round 1 scorecard. Birding 1. He played very, very well on 1 the entire week. There's not really a hole that stands out besides maybe 17. He also played very well the entire week, but round 1 he has a good front 9, and then the back 9 separates him a little bit. He came in second overall on day 1, really putting himself on the leaderboard, and from that point forward, he was really just there the entire time. A fantastic round 2 where he birdies 1 again. It's good play on 15, 16, and 6 as well. And then 17, 18 goes par and birdie, and he plays very well. Davis Riley does on round 2, goes 6 under. Takes him to 10 under on the weekend, going into moving day on Saturday. Moving day on Saturday, he finishes another fantastic round of golf. It's a birdie on 1 again. This is his 3rd straight birdie on 1 throughout the week. Has a little bit trouble around the turn. 9 and 10 are bogeys, but everywhere else birdie central. He finishes 4 under on the day, takes him to 14 under, and that's where his score finishes as he ends Sunday with even par scorecard. But that's okay because he did not need to really separate himself out anymore. Everybody was chasing him at that point, and nobody really could. 14 under going into Saturday. I believe he led by 7 strokes on the field going into Saturday, and it was just such a dominant performance for Davis Riley at the Charles Schwab Challenge. And this is the first time we're really seeing of Davis Riley playing, this well of golf. This great of golf, of course, winning at the Zurich Classic last year. He is 27 years old. He turned pro in 2019. I believe he had his first appearance on the PGA Tour in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And ever since then, it's kind of been a uphill climb to get to this point for Davis, and he finally gets past that. So, questions of, is this what he is now? Is he going to be able to, keep contending when it comes to the PGA Tour? In the FedEx Cup standings, this does so much for him to help him out. He is not going to be participating in the RBC Canadian Open as he did withdraw. I believe, of course, just celebrating. But right now, he's 55th when it comes to the FedEx Cup standings, which puts him in safely in the top 70 for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. just below the top 50 cutoff for the BMW Championship. He is around great golfers right here in this kind of list. Jordan Spieth, Mark Hubbard, Victor Hovland, and then you got Davis Riley at 55. You also have right behind him Adam Schenk, who's been a perennial winner on tour, Emiliano Grillo at 58th, and then Maverick McNeely 61. So a lot of guys right around where he's at. Really kind of shows you how great of golf he's playing and how big that win and how big a win on tour can really do for your FedEx Cup rankings. You get 500 points for this win at the Charles Schwab Challenge, which is just typical for any tour event, and he uses all of it really to put himself up in the FedEx Cup standings. He had 103 points going into it. Now he has 603 after the win, really placing himself comfortably in that mix. If you could see some more great results, you will see him being able to get into the top 30 for the Tour Championship. So looking forward to seeing how his rest of this season can develop for Davis Riley, who is now a PGA Tour winner. Once again, having a great weekend. But the rest of the field wasn't really that impressive. Ricky Fowler wasn't able to capitalize after I believe he had a good day 1 and 2, but fell off towards the weekend. Jordan Spieth had an amazing day 2, but completely fell off towards the weekend. Scotty Scheffler had 2 rounds in the 70s, which is completely unlike him. That's why we're going to have a little bit of a talk about him in the 4th segment. This is just not the play, but we'll talk about more about the leaderboard when it comes down to that 2nd segment of the night. But just for right now, talking about Davis Riley, yes, it's such a great moment for him. It's such a weight off his shoulders, winning the first one. You see this a bunch of times on tour, players winning the first one, and then you're now a PGA Tour winner, and now you get a little bit of confidence in your swing, a little bit of confidence in your practice. You feel a little bit better just overall, and we could definitely see that with Davis Riley, 27 years young still. So he is able to really burst onto the scene like we saw maybe Victor Hovland do a little bit last year. That guy was young and played very well. Maybe Will Zalatoris in 2019, Dustin Johnson in 2019, 2020. Kind of similar to those guys who, mid-20s, they get their first win and then they start winning a lot more. It's definitely something we could see from Davis Riley here. He has such a great... he has amazing, technique in his swing. He was so great off the tee this weekend. That's really where it separated out. His accuracy wasn't great, but it was the best of the leaderboard of the pack. I believe he only made 55% fairways, but Sunday it was horrible. Everybody was missing fairways on Sunday. Don't know what that one was about. But on Thursday and Friday, he was driving the ball really, really well, very accurate with his drives, and then his approach shots were even better. And he also was top 10 in the field on putting. So this entire tournament was just his to win. He dominated the field in every aspect. I actually do have the stats. We were going to talk about this in the 3rd segment, but I'll bring them up for this, talking about Davis Riley. He was 6th in shots gained off the tee. He was 4th in shots gained or strokes gained putting, 2nd in strokes gained on approach. He was a 70% clip on scrambling. So every single aspect was so impressive. He led the field in strokes gained tee to green, which incorporates tees, greens, and tees, irons, and wedge shots all combined. So his greens in regulation were really great this weekend. This was his tournament to win. There's sometimes when just stars align for these golfers, and we might have seen it right here with this win by Davis Riley. This kind of reminds me a little bit of last year's win from Emiliano Grillo. Which one was that? I forget which tournament it was, but he had a fantastic weekend where he just separated himself last year from the pack and just dominated everybody. So this could be what we saw from Davis Riley here. I think this is a name that I'm going to be, not scrutinizing, but very much looking at when it comes to the events going forward. Of course, he withdrew from the RBC Canadian Open. The tournament doesn't mean as much to him as he is an American, so he is going to take that week off after such a special week here. Probably celebrate, stay with his family and friends. So good for him. Very happy for him. A 27-year-old getting such a great weekend, playing some fantastic golf with Davis Riley this weekend. And yeah, that'll wrap it up for our winning talk of the Charles Schwab Challenge. Next, we'll talk about a little bit of how the FedEx Cup standings have shaken up since the Charles Schwab Challenge, and how the rest of the leaderboard fell from the Charles Schwab Challenge, as Sky Scheffler has a bad week and is still tied for second on that one. So it was such an impressive weekend for that guy. But even goes to show you how great of golf Davis Riley played. So without further ado, we're going to get right into our first break of the night.